Wednesday mornings. We're in Simpsonville, South Carolina. We took a fast run up to the mountain yesterday, and believe it or not, it was 61 degrees up on the mountain. Today it was 28 this morning when we got up, but we're headed to 70. By the weekend, they're saying it will have 70-degree weather, so it won't be a snowy Christmas here in Simpsonville for sure. It's interesting as you read the scriptures in full context and as you think about the teachings of Jesus, all of the truths that he had to say. And in chapter 17, he's speaking to his disciples. And here's what he promises them. Offenses will certainly come. You know, that's what I don't like about some of the TV evangelists is that they're constantly saying pie in the sky and prosperity and no troubles. But Jesus told his disciples it wasn't going to be like that in this world. He said offenses will certainly come. Then he goes on and says, but woe to those that bring the offenses. It would be better for them to have a millstone tied around their neck and be thrown into the sea than to cause a little one to stumble. Well, the offenses obviously here are misleading them in what the gospel message really is and misleading them in the things of righteousness. Nevertheless, offenses will come to us in many different ways. And in John 16:33, it tells us that in the world we'll have tribulation. And I think most of us have had that. But he goes on and he says something very interesting because obviously he's talking about the scribes and the Pharisees here, having just dealt with them in chapter 16 and many others perhaps. But he says, be on guard. If your brother stumbles, if he sins, rebuke him. And if he repents, forgive him. And if he sins against you 7 times in a day and comes back to you 7 times saying, I repent, you must forgive him. Forgiveness is an important part of the Christian life. Being able to forgive one another. Last night I was in a condo meeting and one of the people was pretty upset about some areas around his house, and rightly so. All of us want our property to look nice and our houses to be a nice investment. And he complained, as he probably should have, but maybe not in the full way that he should have. But in any case, after he found out that I was a pastor and that I was deeply concerned about all of the people that live in our condo complex, he wrote me an email asking me to forgive him for having lost his Christian witness during that meeting. And of course, I had not taken offense because I knew he was upset. I understand his upset, and certainly I'm very sympathetic with his condition and the trees and things that were affecting his home. But I want you to know that forgiveness is an important part of life. Very often, if you don't forgive, the bitterness and resentment will eat you up. And so it's important for us to find forgiveness for others. And no matter how many times they sin, we're supposed to come back and continue to forgive them. So let's think about that, especially at this Christmas season. There's probably been some that have offended you. There's probably some that have sinned against you. When you rebuke them, do it in private and with the right loving spirit. And if they repent, forgive them. Give them that forgiveness that only God shows the real way to forgive. Complete and absolute forgiveness. Well, I hope you're enjoying today's video. It has a new camera. I have a new haircut. And I guess that's all the camera and haircut can do for me. So if I don't look any better, I'm sorry. But know that offenses will come. And sometimes we're going to have to rebuke. But we're always going to have to forgive. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.